All right, solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Hey, by the way, you don't have to memorize this formula. I'm going to write it down so I have it. X equals, okay, negative boy couldn't decide whether or not to go to a radical party. The boy was square, so he missed out on 4 awesome chicks, and the party was over at 2 a.m. All right. Well, that's how I memorize it. But you don't have to for this course. You are allowed a card, a note card on each chapter test, and all of the quizzes are given online, so even if they asked you not to use notes, there would be no way to enforce it. So I do recommend you use all the assistance you need in order to be successful. First thing I want to do is put this quadratic in standard form. So x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0, which means that a equals 1, b equals 1, and c equals negative 2. So we're just going to substitute. Alright, b is 1. Oops, forgot the squaring. 4a is 1, c is negative 2, and 1 is a. Alright, so when we simplify, we're going to simplify inside the radical. Now, the 2 negatives in the multiplication go positive. Always work out those signs first, because that's where I see the most errors. And I'm going to move this over here so I get a little room. Minus 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1. 4 times 1, negative 4 times 1 times negative 2 is a positive 8, all over 2. Well, we're going to get a perfect square underneath that radical, which means this problem was factorable. Plus or minus square root of 9 is 3. I'm going to skip that step. Over 2. Remember, we've got to work out both of these. X equals negative 1 plus 3 over 2. And also x equals negative 1 minus 3 over 2. So it looks like the first one is 1 and the second one is a negative 2. X equals 1, negative 2. Double check my math. 2 divided by 2, negative 4 divided by 2. That looks correct. Last problem is really straightforward. Oh, and by the way, that should be a b squared. Forgot. Okay. That's what's underneath the radical in our quadratic formula. So if the discriminant is negative, that means we've got a negative under a square root, and those are not real solutions. So we just crunch through the discriminant, see if it's positive or negative. If it's positive, we have 2 solutions. If it's negative, we have 0 real solutions, 2 imaginary solutions, which they're not interested in. And if it's equal to 0, then we have exactly 1 solution. So, b squared minus 4ac. I guess I got to get this in standard form. And the nice thing is I do not care that the multiplier of x squared is negative. I do need a 0 on one side or I'll have errors. So, a equals negative 1. B equals 4, C equals negative 4. So B squared minus 4 times A times C. 4 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times negative 4. Oh, so what we have is we have 3 negative signs in that multiplication on the right. That's going to turn negative. So we get 16. 4 times 1 times 4 is 16. So we get 0, which means there is 1 solution. 1 real solution. Okay, that's all I have for you for the notes. Take the notes, come back to class. We'll do some practice. See you then.